We're here. I'm here. And Enzo is here too. For those of you in the chat that have already been talking to Enzo, here he is.
Huzzah!
Oh, hang on. I've got my thing going on. Oh, my God, I'm good. There we go. Sorry, I forgot to turn that off. Carla's here. Erwin's here. Maybe that's it. Let's see. Oh, no, there's 5 people watching. So there's some people
There's
hiding.
Tanya.
Tanya, hello. It's Monday. Are you home from work? Actually, it'd be Monday Arvo, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, good to see you, Tanya. Yes. So Halloween's coming up on, what day is it for you guys? It'll be the same for us. Thursday night. It's Friday night. Friday night? Yeah. Friday night here. So we technically have our Halloween before you, Enzo. So there you go.
Right.
But I was reading up on it. Oh, okay. Well, that's good then, Tanya. So that means you're here. Oh.
Ah,
Tanya, you put in socks. Oh, dear. Yeah, so I just thought we'd come on and chinwag a little bit about Halloween and see what Enzo knows about it, see what I know about it. Carla's probably all over it. And knows everything. All I know about Halloween is that it's a whole heap of different celebrations that were all crammed into one, and it wasn't called. So it was All Hallows Eve is the Christian one. So Christians had All Hallows Eve, which was the night before. So the I'm going by memory, 1st of November was All Saints Day, and 2nd of November was All Souls Day, where you pray for the dead. So that was the Christian bit. And then the Celts had, it wasn't called, it was a, oh, hang on, I might have the name of it. It was a celebration. It was a thing as to, like, it's time to do your harvesting. But also the Celts believed that was also, unlike the Christian one, that was also the night 31st to the 1st was the night where the veil was at its thinnest. That's what I mainly know. And then when Catholics came in and everyone else came in, it all just got condensed down into one celebration. What do you know about it, Enzo?
Exactly what you just told us. That's as much as I know too. Lots of nights of running around for candy. For whatever reason, the night before is in the States for a lot of places. It's like Devil's Night or something like that for kids, where they go out and that's when they throw the toilet paper up in the trees and egg the windows and
trick or treat. Yeah,
do mischievous stuff the night before. And then they go out the following night, and the same places, the same towns that they wrecked, they would go in and ask for candy. So
cheeky buggers. I just, obviously here in Australia, it's always been around, even since I was younger. It's always been around, but nothing like America. Like America, just with everything, America goes all out. But with
that's
Halloween,
what Americans do.
That's what Americans do. Here in Australia, in certain parts, depends on the neighbourhood. Like even in my neighbourhood, you do get kiddies coming out in costume and whatever, but it's not like every house or anything like that. It's, you normally get a list of these houses, like when my girls were babies, they wanted to dress up for Halloween because they'd seen it in cartoons. Mummy, what's Halloween? So I had them all dressed up, and I just went the night before. I went down the road and tapped on the neighbours' doors and said, hey, if it's all right with you, tomorrow I'm going to bring my little girls down to go trick-or-treating. Can you give them these lollies? Like I gave them the lollies to give my kids. So we went trick-or-treating, and, but a couple of them had because I'd given a day or two's notice, a couple of them had actually gone to the bother of, and of course my girls, like the youngest was dressed up as a pussycat. That was Sunny Sock. That was Bella. She was dressed up as a pussycat, but she was like in my arms. So eldest was 4. So it was these little tiny girls all sort of dressed up as fairies and whatever. So, it's a fun thing to do. I do know that some religions see it as, or you don't celebrate that sort of thing, but I think they're the very, they tend to keep to the strict
Right.
All Saints and stuff like that. But I don't think there's
tend to
any.
protest out of places where I'm speaking it.
Yes, yes. Yeah. For those of you who might have missed it, I think Tanya might have missed. I'll let Enzo tell the story again. But Enzo was Tanya. You remember the thing we were watching? You were watching when Enzo was giving his. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'll tell you about that in a minute, Tanya. But yeah, he was giving his talk, but the whole thing was ruined through rain falling through the roof and protesters that were out the front. Tell them about the protesters, Enzo.
Yeah, there was, you've hit the big time when the local radicalized church decides that we had their big bone of contention with us was that we had fortune tellers and mystics and psychics and stuff. Basically, anyone who might be able to divine the future, kind of a thing. That's what they were dead set against. So they had about 30 people out in front of the building and were badgering anybody that walked by, that they were supporting sinful behavior and all that kind of stuff. It didn't get much more. It wasn't any nastier than that. Just casual catcalling, to be honest. But it was enough to where, since there's not a lot of parking in the little area we were doing, so they ate up all the parking that was easily available just by being there. And so a lot of people that might have stopped by or driving by trying, looking for a place to park up close to the building, and then they see protesters with signs and people yelling at them, calling them sinners and stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to drive on by. So I do feel we probably lost a few customers there, but in the end, when it got to be about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because it was very hot and sunny that day, they were just boiled to death. So they all split just a little bit after 12 o'clock, like 1 or 2 p.m. And they all split. And we had the rest of the day. And then like the big crowds actually started showing up then. So we ended up crowd wise, technically being like more than last year, which is, we gain, numbers of people every year. We get a little bit bigger. But I feel we would have gotten a lot bigger this year if we didn't have them hounding people in the morning, at least. So. But then, of course, we ended up having to close early because the ceiling caved. And apparently, at some point in the weeks prior, lightning had struck the building. And where the flashing is on the outside, where the gutters are for redirecting all the rainfall, because we've had a lot of rain this past summer. Apparently, it unwelded all of that stuff from away from the building. So basically, the rain was just falling down into the roof. And there was one corner of the building that just started filling up with water. And in the middle of my presentation is when it all decided to let loose, and we had a tidal wave in the middle of the show. And it was there was a lot of water damage to some of the stuff we had on display. Nobody was injured or anything like that. So we had that to be thankful for. But it did splash water and wet insulation from the insulation it was mixed in with way out in the middle of the floor and all that. And for insurance purposes, they didn't want to clean it up because they needed to take a bunch of pictures and all that stuff. And we're like, well, we can't have people sitting in, a soggy floor with seats all covered in water and chunks of insulation and stuff like that. So we just called it and terminated the whole thing at that point. So not the best ending, but I'm told that my presentation will be back next year intact where I can tell it all again.
And not bring the house down this time.
I may bring an umbrella for the first part that I have covered so I don't accidentally get wet. But
hey,
yeah.
Hey, Carla.
So that's basically the story.
Yeah. Thank you, Erwin. That was the name I couldn't remember for Samhain, which was the Celtic. I think Samhain was like it's the name of the celebration, and and that's where they'd celebrate the end of harvest season and the beginning of winter, and so and they again from memory. Perhaps Erwin would know from memory the thing with the masks, you know how you've got your masks. The thing with the masks, from my understanding, was firstly the trick or treat. Now this is with Samhain. This isn't Halloween, but the idea was it was the end of harvest season, and it was also when the veil was at its thinnest, and therefore demonic. Not only everything, living, dead, demonic, anything like that could you know, so you had to appease people. So that's where you know how we have trick or treat now and you give out treats. They would leave something to appease at their door, be it a pumpkin, be it just some fresh veg, whatever it was from harvest. And then also the mask thing was because you didn't want to get, if you had to go out and had to be among the living, you would wear a mask so that the ghosts or spirits or whatever they were couldn't recognize you. It was like, oh, they're one of us. So that was the sort of the thinking behind the whole process. And then eventually All Saints Day, and when Christianity wanted to take over and tell the Celts, you're stupid, you got to believe in God, it all, a political thing, it all came together. And then eventually it was went from All Hallows Eve to Halloween, which is what we celebrate. Yes, see, I knew I was right. Geez, Erwin, I'll tell you what. And it was mainly Ireland, Scotland. It was mainly Ireland and Scotland, I think. It might have been English too, but definitely Ireland and Scotland. And it just is what it is. So there you go. But yeah. So anyway, so that's what it's all about. And that's why we celebrate it now. And I still have, I don't know if I'll do it this year or not. I haven't, maybe I should just put the decorations out and buy some lollies and see if the kids come and knock on the door. But I don't know. I'm not in a Halloween mood. If I was in America, I would be. You wouldn't be able to escape it. It'd be every store.
America's gotten kind of weird because the big thing now in the U.S. because like when I was a kid, you and like all your like little group of friends that lived on your street would all travel as a pack, going from house to house, and you would venture over to other kids, that their streets and all that stuff, and you'd have the little kid network. It was like, the White House over there is giving the full size candy bars, not that fun size crap, all that stuff. You get the little intel reports, the who had the best candy and stuff like that. And then when you would get home, you'd like throw your bag out on the floor with your friends and you'd start trading. It's like, I'll trade you 2 Snickers for that Reese's cup, things like that. And that's not really how it's done so much anymore because the parents don't necessarily want to follow their kids all over the place. And it's not like when you and I were kids where we just ran amok. Our parents never knew where we were.
Yeah, and it's just not safe anymore.
Yeah, now they do the trunk or treat kind of a thing, which like local churches, a lot of churches, and
unless you're in Caney, Kansas.
Unless you're in Caney, Kansas, and you can stop by Jess's house and have the full experience. So
yeah, what was the name? It's funnel cake. Funnel cake.
Yep.
She's making
funnel cake. Yep.
Yeah, for those of you who missed last week, Jess was on with us, and she was saying what she does to prep for Halloween, which is a lot. And she cooks up. So a few different houses in the neighbourhood do different things. So Jess will make funnel cakes and give out funnel cakes to the kids. Another house does cotton candy, fairy floss, and so on and so forth. Just sounds brilliant. Was that trick or treat? Yeah, that's my. Oh, Erwin. But yeah, so I don't know, but I haven't been. I missed out because I came for Thanksgiving. I missed out by about a week on getting to America on Halloween, but I made Thanksgiving, which to me was so much more fun. Maybe, I mean, it's still fun watching kids dress up and stuff, but
for anyone that's not familiar with funnel cake, it's just little strands that you put into boiling oil or kind of a thing where it fries it up, pull it out, put like powdered sugar on it. Some places do it a little differently. You might get like a little thing of honey to dip it in or something like that. Or some places put fruit on it, like this one here and all
so
that.
not fattening at all, sort of like donuts.
Not at all. It is, honestly, it's just a skinny donut. It's a donut worms kind of a thing. That's really what it is.
Oh dear. Oh, I made myself some fried green tomatoes this morning. You'll be happy to know.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I just did it the way your mum did, in the flour and salt and pepper. But I did have, I did the green one, and I had a ripe one. Doesn't work with ripe ones; they go all mush.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the green one, and it tasted yum. And I thought, beautiful, I can make fried green tomatoes. So, see, you can learn a lot of fun. Yeah.
I was never a big fried green tomato guy, but when I was a kid, we always grew summer squash. And she would do that the same exact way, where just thin slice, because those are the yellow squash that kind of have like the long neck on it, or summer squash, where she would just dice it up into little poker chip thickness type slices and do the same thing. Do the shake and bake thing, put the flour and some salt and pepper all in one big plastic bag, throw in all the vegetables and just shake it up to where they're all covered, and just have a little bit of oil in a pan and just slap them all in there in one layer, flip them, and then serve them up on a plate.
Yeah. Yes, Erwin. Erwin, you wouldn't have had, we used to have, when I was little, I can't even remember the date. I'll see if I can. We used to have Guy Fawkes night. Guy Fawkes. Oh, I can spell.
And Tanya, who doesn't seem to like green tomatoes, they're fried. You could deep fry an old tire, and I would eat it. That's always been my rule. So
yeah,
that makes it okay.
Yeah, Guy Fawkes night is November 5th, and Guy Fawkes is we used to have it here, and that was because Erwin just reminded me. We used to do a bonfire to celebrate Guy Fawkes night, and we don't have Guy Fawkes. It was also firecrackers. You'd let off fireworks, but we don't celebrate that anymore. It's something that sort of went away, and I don't really know why. Do they still celebrate that in England, Erwin? I never thought to ask, but there you go. Tanya, green tomatoes, fried green tomatoes are delicious. I had them when I was in America, and I thought it. I said to Jess and Enzo last week, I thought that it was a particular tomato that you grow that is only green, but no, you pick your tomato just as they have the slight tinge of red, which I did.
It's starting to turn.
Yeah, and I sliced it up and put it in and it's yum. There's something about, I like them, but I knew Guy Fawkes was more an English thing than Irish, but yeah, but zucchini and summer squash are very similar. Yeah, that's correct, Enzo. Because we can do that. Enzo was talking about that last week too. Zucchini, or not zucchini, squash, doing it the same way. Well, apparently, if you pick them when they're just green, but Jess said no, just as they're starting to get the tinge of red to them, so before they're completely ripe, that's when you pick them. And she's correct, because and they fry up really nice. So all I did when I was in America, they obviously put it in a batter and then they deep fried it. That's what I remember. Or it was probably flour, but they deep fried it. I didn't deep fry it. I just fried it in butter. I just got the tomato and put flour on it, salt and pepper, and fried it up in the in the butter. And yum.
When I was a kid, my mom would always save the bacon grease from our like Sunday breakfast kind of thing because we always had bacon, and she would always keep it for stuff like that because you'd have a little bacon grease in there, and that's what you fried it in. Man, it really brought the flavors out.
D, just because you said something, yeah, I always used to think, why would you celebrate someone who tried to blow up Parliament? Guy Fawkes. So 1605, and it was a gunpowder plot. So he wanted to kill King James and blow up Parliament. But let me see. So he must have been Catholic because it was, yeah. So Guy Fawkes was a central figure in the 1605 gunpowder plot, a failed plan by English Catholics to assassinate King James and the Protestant Parliament by blowing up Westminster Palace. So Fawkes was a former soldier and a gunpowder expert. He was arrested in the cellar with 36 barrels of gunpowder on the night before the attack after a warning letter led authorities to search the premises. He was tortured, he confessed, and revealed his co-conspirators, who were subsequently captured and killed. The failure of the plot is still remembered annually in Britain on November 5th, known as Guy Fawkes Night, which involves bonfires and fireworks. So there you go. So, yeah, don't plan to blow up Westminster at all. Because, yeah, and I vaguely recall someone explaining the tortures that they went through with him. Not good. None of the tortures back there were good.
Yeah, they did not mess around with torturing folks back then.
Hi, Dazzler. Sorry, I didn't say hello. Who else is here? Just Dee and Dazzler. What's Dazzler saying? I grew up with my grandma always making us fried green tomatoes. Well, and Dazzler, of course, most of the ladies would know too, the movie Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. I used to think that's the longest title for a movie, but you don't forget it. But I still remember that and wondering what fried green tomatoes were. And then when I went to America, I saw it on a menu and I've gone, oh, I've got to have fried green tomatoes. And I tried them and I thought, oh, yum. So there you go. They are nice. Americans do cook up some nice things.
But we figure out how to fry a lot of things. If it doesn't fit in the fryer, we cut it up until it does. It's fry like the state fair that we always have always has some kind of crazy thing, that's fried. They had a thing. They always have a thing here at the Kansas State Fair where it's corn on the cob. It's corn, but it has like a stick in the end, but it's boiled in butter. Just to the point where like the very end pieces start crisp a little bit, turn color a little bit, and then they pull it out. Put like a simple paper napkin which is immediately soaked in butter, and just hand it to you. Man, is that fantastic!
I don't know what. I've only got one tomato plant. That's enough for me. 42 tomatoes. Oh, you mean 42? Geez, who are you feeding? And 18 capsicum. I've got 4 capsicum things because that's what come in the punnet to plant. But I brought just one tomato plant because they usually go crazy anyway. But well, it's a cholesterol booster. Yes, it is, isn't it, Dee? Because it's deep fried. Yeah. At least mine's not, because I only cook it in butter. Yes, and so everything fried in the butter.
Fried green beans are also a favorite of mine, where it's the same idea. You just roll it in something and fry it up like that in a pan. And they're delicious.
I wonder if you deep fry it in olive, like you certainly don't use, like, just in case you guys don't know, never use vegetable oil or any of those because they're really dangerous for your health. Yeah, I'm amazed they're still allowed to have it on the shelf when you know what it does when it chemically breaks down. Even olive oil, you've got to be a bit careful when it reaches a certain temperature, it changes its thing. It's great for some things, but I think I'm trying to think of the oil that's okay. You either use the fat, like proper lard, from
Avocado oil is probably the one you're thinking of, I'm thinking.
which is okay, yeah. But there's some oils that are fine. They don't change their chemical structure when they're heated. But
They get that smoke point, everything changes about it, and it because you're basically that's the point where it's starting to burn, and that changes all of those healthy properties. Those are burned away basically. So now you're just left with the gunk.
Yeah. So, and the same with butter. Butter's good to cook in because it depends, because all of those old fallacies about butter being bad for your cholesterol. Eggs used to be one that they'd say, oh, don't eat too many eggs, brings up. It's absolutely wrong. Absolutely, it's been proven.
This was by the same people that had the old food pyramid where the base of it was supposed to be like bread and grains and stuff like that, it's completely upside down.
Upside down, yeah. So there's lots of things, but I was going to get a tiger tomatoes, but instead I just went for plain old normal, whatever you call them, tomatoes.
Artists with those.
What's Tanya saying? I would need a glass house to grow tomatoes here. Our weather is changeable and not hot enough. Yeah, I suppose that's the beauty of living where I live. Even when it's cold, it's not really cold. Like it is, but it's not. Like it's not frost or anything like that.
Sure.
What else? Capsicums, candy cane capsicums, bullhorn, banana, Mad Hatter. Candy cane capsicums. Jeez. I knew they made I knew there was such a thing as a banana capsicum, but I love fresh veggies. So this year though, I mainly like cucumbers, squash, tomatoes. So that's what I planted. I've got and carrots and onions. I love onions. Oh, actually, you'd need a hothouse, Dee, down in Victoria. It's fine in summertime. Summertime, Victoria gets like an oven, but winter, it's cold. Especially you're near Ballarat, aren't you, Dee? I think. And Ballarat gets really cold. I don't know why. It just does. But there you go. So I'm just trying to... But Dazzler, where are you from? Oh. I know where Irwin's from. Diddly-dee potatoes. Oh, dear. I watched a show the other day again. I've talked about it before, the IT Crowd, and it's got an Irish actor in it. He makes me laugh. And they were doing, oh, that's funny, crack, isn't it? And he's like, like that word. I like that word, crack. Crick, crick, crack, crack, crack. 3 tractor tires full of onions.
Wow.
9 months? Oh no! I don't want to wait 9 months for me red onions.
That's a lot of onions still.
Oklahoma, where the sun does something on the something. Sorry.
Where the wind goes through the plane. Yeah. I was going to ask Dee, do you like can or pickle some of these vegetables? It sounds like you're growing a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, unless she sells them at market. But there you go. Tanya. Growing potatoes. Hey, diddly-dee. Diddly-eye. Yippity-yee. I know. I like to. I thought to myself, well, if anything's going to happen, I saw someone else talking about the fact, and he could be right, I don't know, but with all the solar flares, what was the thing that happened in the 1800s where communications went out, blew up?
That was the Carrington event.
The Carrington event. So I saw a guy yesterday talking about the fact that he thinks another one could occur soon, and I thought, well, that would be annoying because nowadays you don't get a pay packet with actual money in it anymore. No one has actual money. It's all on the internet. And I thought, well, if that happens, that would be quite a mess because no one does anything in paperwork anymore. Not many. But so how do you pay your house and all that sort of thing? And then I thought,
all that stuff would be gone.
It'd all be gone. I could live without, all that. Obviously it would, communications would be gone. It'd take years. It would take absolute years.
Yes, it really would. The argument of, everyone's like, we're go back to the Stone Age. You'd go back to the 30s. You would certainly be back then where, basic things are still going to work. You could still make, your own ammo for guns. You can still do that kind of stuff. But gasoline and, basically anything that runs off of electricity is outright gone. All your cars, all your internet, the power coming out of your wall, all of that stuff. Your microwave's not going to work anymore. That kind of stuff, where there's a chance of certain places might be able to recover faster, but it would take basically the situation would run out, like, because when the solar flare occurs, before it actually hits Earth, we've got you got like 24 to 48 hours from the time it launches to where it looks like this is going to be bad, kind of a thing, which I would expect, the leader of whatever country you're in does like a public address. It's like, hey, we're going to have to shut down the entire grid because all the power lines running all over your city and between the towns and going to wherever your substations are and all that stuff are going to act like a giant antenna. And basically all of these energies are going to dump all the way down to the surface of the Earth to where it's going to start attracting into anything like a wire. Like when the original Carrington event occurred, the internet back then was the telegraph lines. And there were telegraph lines, the further north you were, the worse it was. But like in the New England part area of the United States, there were miles of worth of these lines that would just burst into flames, just burning the insulation off of them. There was so much energy coming through the atmosphere, and those miles and miles of copper wire acting like a big antenna. There were stories out of northern part of Ireland, I think it was, where not all of their railroad ties, because that's actually how you did a lot of instead of running miles and miles of telegraph line, you use the actual train tracks where you would bond between the two pieces. So it's just one big continuous piece of metal at that point. And you can transmit down to the next town without actually having to run a wire. Well, it is doing the same thing. And it wasn't grounded anywhere. So it ended up catching like railroad ties on fire. There were like miles worth of railroad track where the timbers underneath of the tracks themselves, the railroad ties, were bursting into flames from all the energy coming out of there.
So if we knew that was going to hit now, if we knew, well, we still wouldn't have much warning, but let's just say we got 48 hours warning that that's going to happen. So if they shut down the grid completely, no electricity, no nothing.
I would expect like an announcement from like your president or prime minister or whoever saying, here's the deal. If we're going to have any chance of coming back when this is over in 48 hours or 72 hours, we have to shut down the power grid. You, as an individual homeowner, need to go flip every circuit breaker, unplug everything, every appliance, everything that you have plugged in the wall. You have to unplug it. Take your computers, your backup files, all that kind of stuff. Basically, you need like those big galvanized garbage cans. If you line the inside of it with like a non-conductive material, like some rubber foam or something, cardboard even, so it's not touching the insides, and then seal the top of it. You put the top on there so it's a good metal connection. That should protect it. Because it turns out, because what you need to do is you need a Faraday cage is what it's called, which is like an overlaying mesh to where those energies can't get in. But you're in luck. You have a Faraday cage in your house right now and probably didn't know it. Your microwave oven is a Faraday cage. Oh. So if you have like this kind of event and you're like, oh my God, my laptop has my life's work journals or whatever on it, something you have to save, unplug the microwave, put it in there. Make sure it's sitting on the little glass platter in there. It's not touching the sides. And close that door and don't open it until it's all over. If you really want to take, an extra layer, literally use aluminum foil and wrap whatever it is up in multiple layers of aluminum foil, then put it in there. And it should be okay. It'll be protected. However,
but does that mean can you wrap your computer in tin foil?
You could. Sure.
So the tin foil is real.
something like your phone or a laptop or your tablet. That's easily protected by just basically just take it and put it in the mic. Turn this off. Turn the power off. If you can remove the battery, remove the battery. Yep. Your microwave is a Faraday cage. That's why you can use the microwave and stand there at the window watching your popcorn go around and listening for it to pop.
And not get hit by the microwaves.
Without getting irradiated yourself because you're standing there. Because it is a Faraday cage. That's how that works. It's containing all that stuff inside.
If that happens, we're basically buggered.
Because basically what's going to happen, even when it's all over, there's a strong chance that whatever electrical substation feeds your neighborhood electricity, that some of those transformers are going to blow up. If they were able to get workers out there and disconnect all of them to where they're all standalone, where there's not miles and miles of basically antennas directing all of those energies into those things. And then once it's all over and they could reconnect everything and power it back on, you should be able to go back to normal. But that's a lot of work that has to be done in a very short period of time. That's something that you would have to experiment with that. You would have to have a trial run. It's okay, we're going to have a little exercise. Go. How long is it going to take it? Because in a common, if an electrical storm popped up and blew one of those transformers, your local electrical company or whatever it is, they might have 2 or 3 of those on hand to replace, the occasional one that might get blown up like that. If you're talking about thousands over, your whole country, you're going to be out of power for a while.
It's funny. That's why I think I've got my chickens. I've got some vegetables. I need a water tank because I don't have a water tank. But if I've got those and the electricity goes out, well, luckily I've got some old-fashioned things called books. I know how to make. I've got candles. I've got stuff I can make a fire with. So I can still have fried eggs and green tomatoes. I think it would be hard. It wouldn't be bloody easy because.
All right.
Yeah, but I'd certainly be able to manage my weight better, and and I'd be able to cook, and but there's so many other people who wouldn't know. That's the issue.
Right.
And you're trapped. Those who do know how to be okay, not brilliant, but okay, then you're going to have other people who aren't, and they're the ones. That's where civilization would be insane. Instead, it'd be like people wouldn't give a shit. They just break your door down, pinch your food, kill you to get it.
That's the thing is for if you're any kind of prepper or anything like that, don't tell anyone what your preps are. Don't tell people that, hey, I got a really good deal on freeze-dried fruit and I've got 2 years worth of freeze-dried fruit in my basement. I was like, don't tell anyone that you have that, because I've actually, I've made that mistake myself, a few years back where we were talking, I was amongst my friends and they're like, well, what do you got? And it's like, I've got a year and a half of this. I've got this and this in my basement. And there's always going to be that turd that's like, well, if the world ends, I'm coming to your house. No, you're not.
No, you're going to die.
If you better bring your years worth of stuff, everything I just mentioned, you want to combine it. Okay. That's something we can talk about. But why would I work hard enough to gather these resources to keep myself alive, to survive until everything goes back to normal? And now I've got to split all of that in half because your dumbass decides to wander over to my neighborhood. No, this is why we're having this conversation. You can prepare yourself.
Too. Like, and learn things. Like, again, I don't want to be put to the test, but I do know that if I wouldn't probably stay here long in my house. I'd get what I could, and I don't know how, but I know where there's a few horses up the road, so I'd probably go and steal a horse. But
that'll get you shot quick.
Well, yeah, it will. But you know what I mean? Like, I would think, shit, because cars wouldn't work anymore, would they? Unless they're really old.
It really depends. There's an argument out there over modern electronic cars and stuff like that. There may be certain components, like your radio might get fried, and maybe the digital display wouldn't necessarily work. But your electronic ignition and things like that, those aren't super complicated, and they may survive. That's the other part of it is. There's a lot of guesswork on what is going to survive and what isn't. A lot of it's going to depend on the size of the blast.
But you see, you can teach yourself. Like, I've watched things that I know where to find witchetty grubs. Like, not something I do now, but if the solar flare comes and people are killing each other to grab packets of food from the supermarket, like, look how stupid people went and bought toilet paper. What the fuck?
I know.
Toilet paper. What's that going to do? Like, you can wipe your bum on the grass outside if worse comes to worse, or grab a few leaves. But yeah, so people will lose their minds. So it would be a matter of, okay, well, let's see what we've got left in the pantry, pop that in something. If the car works, then you go, okay, then let's drive to a familiar part of the bush that we're familiar with, that we know where there's a creek with running water, take our chickens and hop in the car and go and like witchetty grubs. There's certain it's you just learn what the Aboriginals used to survive on here. Right. So then you work out how to catch a fish, all these things. But like, I've got that knowledge. I just don't particularly need to use it, obviously, but I've got the knowledge. So it'd be, I'd probably be quite hungry for a few days trying to figure it out. But once it was all figured out, oh, well, you're okay. Meanwhile, the city's full of people who don't even know how to fry an egg. They're going to die.
Like, well, they know that you've got eggs and a way to fry it, and so they'll come looking for you. That's the issue is don't be near any population center if things like this go down. Is the way I always look at it and tell people is, as a bear. Beer, yep. That's you need to like grow corn. You need some grains and stuff like that. Yeah. That moonshine can also be used as fuel. So there you go. So if you have that talent, that's actually a very good talent to have to know how to do that. So, but the way I usually tell people is this is like one of those once in a lifetime kind of things. When it happens, is it possible? Well, yeah. Is it going to happen today, tomorrow, next week, tomorrow, 10 years from now? Never. I can't tell you that. Is it possible? Yes. But as a bare minimum, every single person should have at least 3 weeks of stuff in their home where we just went through this a couple of years ago, where you can't go outside. You can't go to the store. You can't go to these places. One, because if it's like a calamity like we just described, the store is going to get picked over pretty quick. Yeah. Here in America, big box stores on every corner. I've had many people like, so what are you going to do if power goes out? It ain't ever coming back. Well, I'm going to drive my truck up to Sam's Club or Costco, and I'm going to you and every other single person within a 50-mile radius is going to do that. So that's not a good plan. So, but you should have for just even day-to-day stuff, because no matter where you live in the world, there's going to be some type of natural type disaster, whether it's a severe snowstorm or Yeah, you're shopping right now. But if there's like, if you live in a place where like I live in a place where there's tornadoes, so I have my tornado prep type stuff. If you're in an area where it snows a lot, where you might get snowed in, it might be weeks till you can get out of there to go to the store. You need to have a few weeks worth of stuff that, okay, I'm stuck in my house because the tornado destroyed everything else except for me. So I can survive for, till that, 3 or 4 weeks till they get the infrastructure back online and to where they start getting shipments of food in at the stores and things like that. If you live where a hurricane comes through or a cyclone or anything like that, every place has their little weird thing that of a disaster that could occur. You might live you live out in the desert. It may not rain for a really long time. So that the water prices go through the roof, or you may not be able to get water. They're rationing because the water is so low. You need to have an extra supply of water to drink and bathe yourself and do the dishes and stuff like that, general hygiene. So it depends on where you live, what's particular to you, because some type of weather event, some type of regional calamity may be related to that weather event. As a bare minimum, you should have about 3 weeks worth of stuff where, okay, this disaster happened. I'm just going to sit on my couch, listen to my little wind up radio, and listen to the news or listen to whatever until it's all over. And
I might have to go back to smoke signals.
Maybe.
But
I'm a Seminole flag guy myself. I think that would work good too. So, stand up on the roof.
But yeah, so yes, that took a different. I was just saying, because of the solar flares at the moment that are sort of like something weird is happening with the sun. I don't really understand it, but anyway. Analog,
it's not the sun, it's our magnetic field. I can keep going on this if you want to, or we can move on. We can move on. We can move on.
It's just so depressing. At the end of the day, I just need a pet horse as well with a cart. But the good thing to remember, though, is generally speaking, through times of calamity or whatever, the human race does pull together pretty darn good. Like, usually, just depends, But
if you live out in the country, yes.
What's that? 3 weeks, no way. If some sort of calamity hits, I hope my neighbour is prepared. Neighbour.
I hope your neighbour's going to let you in.
And everyone wants to come and stay with one of us for 3 weeks. Well, yeah, I'm afraid I would let children into my house, but no adults. If an adult gets to the point where they're an adult and they don't even have any idea how to cook a meal at night because all they do is go to the supermarket and buy prepared, I'm not letting them in my house to go through all of my stuff. No, go off, go on a little hike, go off break into the library, grab a book off the shelf that says how to find friggin' bush tucker, and then come back to my door. Or here's a thought, in your backyard, grow a fruit tree. Or that's why I think some neighbourhoods do it, but not many. That's where I think it should be mandatory for the councils now. This is an idea. I might write this. Hi, Taylor. I reckon all councils, or I don't know what you call them in America, the county, the people who tell you what the laws are about your streets and what trees you're allowed to grow and all that crap. Here in Australia, we call it the city council. So the council will say, on the nature strip out the front of your home, you're only allowed to plant an oak tree, no other trees. Well, instead of planting trees that you can't get any food from, how about planting fruit trees? Like every tree has to be an apple tree, an orange tree, a lemon tree, something like that. Then everybody who lives there is getting something back. They can go once it's all matured. And then if there was anything wrong, it's all good. The trees have grown. People can get fruit and veg. And every house should be encouraged to go back to having a water tank like they used to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, every house had a water tank. And then the government decided, no, we want you to use town water, so we're going to make it illegal for you to have the tank. You'll get a fine if you don't get rid of it. Like, so I don't know. But anyway, what a morbid subject. Oh, thank you, Tanya.
I always think back to
like when you're from Ireland, you can come to my house, okay?
There you go.
I don't know how you get here.
During World War II here in the States, I imagine they did it all over the place. We had what we called victory gardens, where even if you lived in a big city, you had a windowsill where you could put a small little planter thing outside of your window in Manhattan, and you can grow a couple of tomato plants, maybe a couple of onions, because tomato plants, some onions, some kind of like pepper or maybe cilantro or something like that. You can make your own salsa, and you can add salsa to a lot to make it taste great.
Hey, Taylor, how would it go in Virginia City if all of the power went out? Like if there was this thing, well, no one would be able to get up the mountain to Virginia City or down the mountain, because if your cars and stuff don't work. So we'd have to, there'd be plenty of mines that you could go in the front of to protect yourself.
I was about to say, go live down in the mines. I bet it's nice and cool down there.
I'd probably go down and live in the mine. There'd be horses, but they're wild, so I don't know how they'd like to be tethered by a human, but maybe. I don't know. We'd have to see where that bear gets its food from, Taylor. Follow the
bear. Yeah, from you. You're the one providing the food. And when you're not there to provide that food, what's it going to do?
No, I've rethought that. I think I was watching some more stuff on the bears, and I thought, yeah, nah. If I lived there, that would be a different thing, because I can hold up my end of the bargain. But because I'm not living there, I can't have a bear come back to Taylor's house, because it might run off with one of the dogs. We can't have that. But does that mean I won't be excited when I see the bear? No, I'll be super excited, and Taylor would probably say, don't go out there. Oh, I'm sure it won't eat me, Taylor. It probably wouldn't. It's probably used to seeing humans anyway. I mean, how many
coming into town like that pretty often, and it probably is.
And a lot of the bears you see, like even in those little things, Taylor's good. I send her things sometimes too, but I see a lot of those little, the TikTok-y things where you'll see a bear go into a candy store or a bear go into someone's house or whatever. And I've watched that fellow. He's on the YouTube somewhere. I haven't watched him for a while. I hope he's still alive. He was old when he was making them. But a guy who has bears that come back. Like, so they live around about, and there's the two little ones that come back the next thing and bring their kids, and they're knocking his bird feeder down, and he only gives them a little treat, like something really tiny. He's not feeding them. He's just saying hello and gives them a treat. But if they walk up onto his porch, he's like, get out. But they still come back. Oh dear. Tracking skills. How good are your swimming skills, Erwin? Yeah, it takes a while to get to Australia from Ireland. But yeah, I don't know. But yes, it's not. I'll be staying. And Taylor, Enzo, have you got anything to say to Taylor about her offer?
I gladly accept, and thank you.
Yeah. So that's good. That'll give you more money to spend on fuel and food. And I'm sure Taylor might even be able to find some chores for you around her house.
I'm sure she will. I would be okay doing it.
Hey, Ben. Yeah. Oh, no, it's all right. We'll be right. And I'm going to take Taylor to Walmart, and I'm going to do a big week of shopping, and we can cook up a storm, and then Taylor can organise whatever I'm going to do, or all of us do, on July 4th. I'm sure, hey, Taylor, I'm sure July 4th there's a big celebration in town. Possible, I don't know. Oh, while I'm there, Taylor, I will have to spend a night, at least a night, maybe two, in the Gold Hill Hotel so I can see the putty cat. I love that pussycat. But yeah, and Taylor gives talks at the Gold Hill Hotel as well, Enzo. So I've definitely got to see one of her talks. And the restaurant there is delicious. So there'll be lots of eating out as well, Tanya, because Tanya, well, Tanya knows, I mean Taylor, because yeah, I've got to get back to a few of my favourite restaurants there and say hello to my favourite cooks, because yum. D, when are you going to Adelaide, Karen? I don't know, D. I don't know. I've got so much to do. I've got I have to get to Melbourne again to visit some family down that way, and it's a matter of money because I'm not working now. So so everything I'm scratching together is going towards going to America next year. So that's where that's going. But we'll see. We'll see. I've applied for some work, but we'll see what happens there too. It is what it is. I just won't be working in daycare facilities in the future. I'll avoid those. I care too much about the kids, and it makes me uncomfortable. So it's all good. It's all money. That's the thing. It's all money. And like, although you can get deals on airfare and stuff, it's hard. It's hard, especially when you're running around after kids this end too, doing things. So, but I am looking forward to getting back to America next year. So long as everything goes fine, I think it will. So yeah, fingers crossed. And then when I'm over there, for those of you who weren't tuned in when I was talking about it last week, Enzo is going to come to Virginia City as well for the 4th of July, the weekend, Enzo, that weekend?
At least, yeah. It's we haven't really talked about how long I'll actually be staying because I can come and go as I please. So it's how long can you tolerate me sitting in your front yard, kind of a thing. But I will be going the end of usually the last weekend of May is Contact in the Desert in Southern California. I'll be going to that. And after that, then I should be open for July 4th at least. I certainly, as a minimum, July 4th weekend there in Virginia City with you guys and with you and Taylor to experience the 4th with you there for the big 250th anniversary. It's going to be a big one next year. It's if you're coming to the States, that's why I'm coming. Here.
Yeah, yep. I like because again, people know I'm a history buff, so my love of American history, and to be there for 250, like, it's just a big thing. For I'm assuming it's a big thing too for people that live in America that are proud American.
I mean, I was a kid, of course, in 1976 for the 200th anniversary, but I remember even as a kid, everything was red, white, and blue with stars and stripes. It was everywhere for the entire year. I imagine this will be exactly the same.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to it, and I'm I figure if I can, I don't know. I would love to stay there a lot longer than what I'm planning to, but then things back here, and if I've got a job, I don't want to. Do you know what I mean? So, but
no, but I don't have a job, so I don't know what you mean.
You've got to do things. Well, I don't have a job at the moment.
Job is that an Australian thing? I don't know. Job.
The job. Hi, you've been smart. Yeah. Yes, people are talking. 3i Atlas again being abnormal again. You know what, Dee? Careful what you're watching because I'm just over it. I think
it is just there is so much BS, clickbait nonsense out there about 3i Atlas. It hasn't changed directions. It hasn't split off into 100 of them. It hasn't slowed down. It hasn't turned. It's not headed for Earth. All of these things, we can't even see what it's doing right now. It's on the opposite side of the sun. So we have no idea what's going on over there. They could be having all kinds of parties out there, and we're just not invited because we have no idea. They're on the opposite side of the sun.
Yeah, I think so too,
and Ben, you are correct. Chances are it is just a regular rock. It's not, I can't say a regular rock. It is certainly something in the 5-kilometer wide range. And it didn't come from our solar system. It came from outside of our solar system is the big thing. And it certainly isn't acting exactly like something from our solar system. There have been some curious things, but they all kind of have an explanation for it. It's not like it's not emitting radio signals. There's not like a distress thing going on. There's no little pods getting launched off, heading for Mars and then into Earth and on. No, none of that stuff's happening. Regardless of whatever BS headline you might see here on YouTube, especially. YouTube is really bad with it.
Well, because you've got to remember, I could get on tomorrow and go, and show you all of the BS that I've seen and put it all together and try and sell it to you as this is what's really going to happen, guys. It's really an alien spaceship. We've only got another week or two. Come December 19th, we're all going to be invaded by a mothership and all that. Like, if that were to happen, whatever. It'd be better than whatever. But, it's just a rock from another galaxy far, far away.
Right. I mean, it is certainly curious the way that it entered our solar system, the way that it's moving through is very unusual. And the odds of it happening totally by random are kind of high, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Because basically it's following along the same, if you looked at how all of the planets rotate around the sun and all that stuff, they kind of are like the level of like a record player. Like if all the planets are on there, they all are on this one ecliptic plane is what it's called, where all the planets are lined up along that. And 3i Atlas is coming in on the ecliptic plane as it's heading in. Basically, this is like the best military sharpshooter sniper shooting at a small coin over a mile away, and he has to hit the coin on the edge. You have to flip it around 90 degrees where he's just hitting the edge of it. That's like the odds of actually what the trajectory of this thing is. So that in itself, that is kind of weird.
Chip. Yeah, like, I don't think it's anything to worry about. And if it is something to worry about,
there's nothing we can do. It's just like we talked about, if the sun puts off a thing and it's going to blah, blah, blah. It's no different than if this is some alien civilization that has figured out a way to get here via whatever this is, whether it's a giant ship or it's just a rock and they're just sitting on the rock hitching a ride or whatever it is. There's not a whole lot we can do about it until basically when it comes around the outside of the sun, which is going to be in like 3 days. In 3 days, we'll be able to see it pop out on the opposite side of the sun of where it is right now. And if it's somehow done this wacky U-turn and is heading for us,
then
okay, now it's time to panic, because that is not a normal trajectory for what it was doing. Right now, it's gonna keep scooting along, head out. It'll be heading out of the solar system after we see it here in a few days. Actually heading out towards where Jupiter is. It'll be going kind of close to that. And after that, it's just going to keep right on going right outside of our solar system and move on to whatever the next one is. That's the other thing is, even though it's very fast, it's the fastest thing we've ever tracked here in our solar system. It's still super slow compared to going between stars, because wherever it originated at was probably literally billions of years ago. The Earth may not have even been formed yet when that left whatever star system to start heading this way, kind of a thing. It's incredibly old, whatever it is, wherever it came from.
I don't think we need to worry. I think it's just you got to be careful too. I always worry when there's things like this being spoken about and people are coming up with all these, whatever. I kind of think smoke and mirrors. What are we missing? What's happening that where people are looking at that and not paying attention to something else? Like, look over here, but don't look over there.
Here's a little something lighter that maybe this crowd might enjoy. This is a headline from the New York Post a couple of weeks ago. The oldest and most haunted hotel in Las Vegas is offering one brave soul $5,000 to investigate potential paranormal activity.
I'll go and stay there, no worries.
Yeah. The gist of it is the El Cortez Hotel, which is down on Fremont Street, which is old Vegas.
Yeah.
Is they're basically from now until Halloween 31st. They're taking applications on. There's a link somewhere in this article where basically you need to spend a couple of nights, basically the weekend, sometime in December of at this in this hotel where you can use whatever the tech there. There's a line in here, oldest, possibly most haunted. Thrill seekers up for the challenge will have the opportunity to apply to spend a weekend inside the El Cortez Hotel and Casino hunting down ghosts in hopes of winning 5,000 things. Blah, blah, blah.
Hang on, winning 5,000? I thought they were going to pay me 5,000 if I stayed there by myself.
No. You have to work for it. You need to do some ghost hunting.
Oh, I can do that.
In a hotel that is in a hotel that's 84 years old, is almost expected to find some creepy things. We're sending you to investigate, fully equipped with ghost hunting gear, to see if the stories are true. The chosen ghost hunter will check into the El Cortez Hotel for a haunted weekend stay, where you'll explore the casino's oldest and eeriest corners, searching for signs of ghostly activity. The chosen one will be tasked with walking through the hotel's corridors, casino floor, and any other areas that are thought to be haunted using ghost hunting equipment such as EMF meters, EVP recorders, and thermal sensors to detect unusual activity at night. The ghost hunting contest runs from October 6th to October 31st, and the trip is expected to take place sometime in early December.
And where is it? Las Vegas?
This is Las Vegas, Nevada, the El Cortez Hotel, which is on Fremont Street, which is the old strip. This place is pretty old. This place was built, it says right here, El Cortez has seen mobsters, high rollers, paranormal activities, and deaths since it first opened in 1941.
I'm going to apply. I'm going to say, I'm from Australia. I can do that. I stayed in the Washoe Club by myself. I've stayed everywhere by myself. Let me at it.
There you go. So, I would imagine a lot of people have applied to this.
Yeah, probably.
There you go. If you'd like a, free weekend there on Fremont Street is okay. It's certainly not as active and fancy as, the main strip, of course, but there's still a lot of really cool old stuff down on Fremont Street.
Well, El Cortez has probably got a mob. Most of those places there have probably got a mob.
Oh, yeah. All those old Fremont places are just infested with mob stuff back in their history for sure. Maybe even today, but who knows? So it's there was something in here.
Send me the link, Enzo. I'm going to apply.
Here, I will post this story, which has all the links and stuff in the regular old chat, so everybody will have a chance.
And if I win and they won't pay for my airfare to America early, then I'll just give it to Taylor. Taylor can
doesn't say anything about airfare. Doesn't say anything like that. I'm going to guess that it's $5,000. So I'm going to guess you bring your own equipment, you bring your own airfare. We'll let you stay in the hotel over.
Well, they just said whatever. When you read that, it said they'll supply you with the stuff.
Well, it does kind of say that. I find that hard to believe because honestly, I can't imagine they're going to give you good stuff. But
You don't need anything anyway,
chosen
really.
one will be tasked with walking through the hotel's corridors, and using ghost hunting equipment such as EMF. Does it really say you'll be given that stuff? I don't know. I imagine even I, as a UFO guy, probably have better crap than they're going to give you as far as equipment goes. But anyway, I thought that would be fun to at least see.
That's pretty cool. Yes, I did, Ben. And as it turns out, when I realised what they were, I've got one. I've got one that I had for my dog when it was a puppy. And I thought, so there you go. But thank you for that, because, yes, I did check it out. The Warren House. Oh, that's good. That's good. How much do they charge there now that the other boys have taken it over? If they're lending you the equipment, that's good. That just means people that don't have equipment and going there just for fun. Hello. Have you found out yet who purchased the mortgage? Angelina. Someone paid off the mortgage, I think, for the Conjuring house, but so far as the last thing I heard, it was no one knew who. 2009, and they supply the equipment. Well, I reckon that's not too bad. Your average Joe couldn't do it, but given I paid $1,200 a few years back now and had to bring my own equipment, and it wasn't for the full night, for Waverly Hills, it's on a par. I mean, if they're supplying you with it, and if they buy a night, they mean that you're there from dusk till dawn, so to speak. But yeah, a lot of places are really expensive. So yeah, I don't know. £5,000 they would want to give you the friggin' hotel. 5,000, no, it won't be. Oh, it'd be close to £5,000, won't it? Because American dollar and English dollar are pretty.
$5,000 in even there on Fremont Street. That's still a good chunk of money. You can have a lot of fun for $5,000.
There you go. How are you, Angelina? Angelina, for those of you who don't know, was quite ill for a while there, but I'm hoping you're feeling much better now and everything. I don't like to pry, but just hoping you are feeling good. I would just want, if for 2009, I would want to at least have breakfast with, what's his name, Matt? The boy, the guy who brought it. I've gone blank. He's young. He's a comedian. Matt Rife. That's him. If I'm going to pay $2,000, I want Matt Rife to bring me breakfast. Oh dear. I'm glad you. Well, yes, everyone could probably be better, but I know there's a few things happening health-wise that you don't get over. So just look after yourself, mate. But at least you're having fun. And if anyone hasn't here on, go check out Angelina's channel, Bad to the Bone Paranormal. Who's live from the Warren House? Who's live? Who? Is Matt Rife live? I like Matt Rife. He's kind of cute. I saw him. He is. He's cute. I watched him in a movie with Karen. Alzheimer's is hitting in. It's called Don't Suck, or I think Don't Suck. He plays he doesn't. Yeah, he plays a vampire. Matt Rife is a vampire with Jamie. Oh my God, Karen. I've gone blank. Why does this happen? Sometimes you can't remember things. Hang on. Don't Suck movie. Then they are. I was taught. Jamie Kennedy. It's called Don't Suck, and Matt plays a vampire, and Jamie Kennedy basically plays himself, really. but he's not himself. He's got a different
He
name.
always does, though. Every role, it's the same guy.
Yeah, but it's actually quite funny. So it's about Matt Rife wants to be a stand-up comedian, so he gets hired to go along with Jamie Kennedy's character and do stand-up in different areas, like, except he's not at all funny. He just thinks he's funny because he's a vampire, right? And it's about that, and it's good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. So if anybody wants to watch a movie and let me know what you think, don't suck.
Is that a new movie?
Oh no, when did you make it, Jamie? 2023. Well, I don't think it was released until last year, though, because that's when I saw it. And I did ask Jamie the other day on a live, I said, dude, are you going to make a second? Because I liked it so much that I would like to see a second one. And I won't give the ending away, but because of the ending, I'm like, oh, they should do another one. And he said, yes, it's in pre-production. So there you go. Interesting. But there you go.
Have you, speaking of movies, I just watched it last night, but have you seen the movie Good Boy about the dog? Basically, it's like a paranormal horror kind of movie, but it's done from a dog's perspective. It's a guy who has a dog, and he goes up to his old grandpa's house, kind of a thing, and it's got all kinds of stuff in it.
What I know about that is they don't hurt the dog.
Oh,
that's the only reason. My daughter wants me to watch it, and I'm like, not keen. But she said,
the dog is not hurt. Actually, looking at a thing about it, there's no AI or anything like that with the dog. It is the dog throughout the entire movie. And that's it, because they were so painstakingly doing all the shots with the dog and all that stuff. It's well over 2 years worth of production just to get all the right shots and the way they wanted it and all that stuff for the dog. I generally enjoyed a part. There were parts of the movie I kind of didn't like. There's parts where the dog is having this weird dream sequence thing that you don't know it's a dream sequence until you see the dog startle awake. It's like, oh, come on, a dog dream? That's what this was. But that's not what it turns into later on. It's you have to go kind of through the entire movie to realize, oh, that's what was happening the entire time, kind of a thing. But all the camera angles are down really low, from the dog's perspective, seeing whoever their master or their guy is running around and doing weird stuff, and seeing creepy shadows and things like that. And it's all this low angle shots in all the rooms, it's from the dogs. But it's well done. I appreciated that part of the movie for sure.
Yeah, I really am not a big horror fan. The only ones I don't mind watching are things that can't happen, if that makes sense. So like the Scream movies, okay, it could happen that some nut job breaks into your house with a knife, but the way it's made, I can watch those because there's generally anything that's got a little bit of humor threaded throughout it. There's one movie I really like it's called Disturbia. It's quite old. That was with Shia LaBeouf in it. He plays a young kid who gets into a bit of trouble, and he's got to have one of them ankle bracelets put on his leg, and he notices something weird with his next door neighbor. I love that. I don't think it's a horror movie, or maybe it is. I think it's more a thriller, but that's a really good movie. I like that. They're just saying here, Erwin, I'd heard of that. I heard of that film, All Dogs Go to Heaven or whatever, but I can't watch anything with animals in it. All Good Dogs Go to Heaven or something like that. That's where the dog dies, and how the dog is, I think, from the gist of it, it's like a reincarnation of the dog throughout a human's life. So even though your dog dies, somehow it's reincarnated and comes back in another dog. I think that's the story, but I can't watch anything. I went to the cinema to see, what's his name? Karen. I'm not good with names today. I must need something to eat. Okay, I'm going blank. Marley and Me. That's it. The movie
Oh,
called
okay.
Marley and Me. I went to the cinema to see it because it looked like a comedy. It had a comedian in it. Jennifer Aniston's in it, but I'm just gone blank on his name. Blonde comedian, funny. The voice of the car in Cars. I've just gone blank. But yeah, I just I went to see that at the cinema and cried uncontrollably at the end because I didn't expect the end. Um, or Cujo, that's another one. Thank you, Dee. Cujo. Now, I thought, poor old Cujo, it's just a beautiful, big, fluffy dog, St. Bernard, who gets rabies. There's no way a St. Bernard dog can do all those things. I watched that and the jump scares got me, but that was about
Right.
it. I'm
I
like,
actually, I don't normally watch horror movies anyways myself. It's just not my thing. But occasionally I'll check one out that I hear a lot of good things about. And I despise the jump scares. You get those parts where the cat leaps out, and just scares everything. It's like,
no, but see, I like the jump scares. So long as I know, like I know there's that movie Saw. Now that was an Australian boy made that, the original,
right.
right? Or an Australian. I think it was two Australians. That was an Australian made or written or something from memory. And then when I realised what the premise was, I thought I can't watch that. I can't watch that. That's effing with your brain. Like I can't watch
Right.
it, but people can sit there and watch that crap. I can't watch that because that's horrific well, hence horror, I suppose. But yeah, I can't. But I can watch a thriller. I like a good thriller. I like a good detective movie.
Have you seen the movie Weapons that came out
Not yet.
recently?
No.
It's
I
pretty
haven't
good.
seen
There are parts in there that are it's not meant to be funny, but it's so kind of ridiculous for the situation that you kind of have to laugh. Because it's I enjoyed that movie. I saw that last night as well.
hang on a second, Jethro. I think I got my price wrong for vetting the investigation. Oh, is that? Yeah. I don't know. Look, there's plenty of places out there that charge like wounded bulls for you to investigate their properties. Waverley Hills is one of them. I don't know what their current price is, but as I say, what 3 years ago now, I think, or 4 years ago now, when I went there, I paid 1,200 American dollars to investigate there, and you could get there just as it was sort of getting dark. You got there, but you had to be out by 4 a.m. So that's not really a night, is it? And that's a lot of money. And yeah, oh well, what do you do? But yeah, like it just all depends. And a lot of these places that you go to anyway, I don't believe they're haunted at all, at all. Why anyone be thinking the Warrens' house is haunted, I'm not sure. Is that just because they've got their little museum there? I don't know. Nowadays, though, I kind of think to myself, I'm of the opinion that if there's anything around at all, it's not a ghost. It's nothing good. It's probably something you shouldn't be messing with. So I just kind of think, I don't know. But I would go and stay in an old building. I love old buildings. If something should happen, well, it happens. I'd love to know what it is, but so far, all the old buildings and castles and things I've stayed in, they're lovely old buildings and castles, and they're cute to stay in, but nothing, nothing scary. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Now, someone asked a question. Where are we? And I missed it. Bats. Enzo, after electricity is gone, what do you think the population drop would be in 12 months?
Well, I actually already answered in the chat because I didn't think we were going to get to it. But honestly, and that end of the world type scenario where power never comes back, at best, 50% of the world's population is gone in 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because anybody who's stuck in a city, a big city especially, uh, they're not going to have access to food, to water, any of that stuff. So they're going to have to like venture out away, which any kind of, in a survival type situation, any kind of movement you have to do is costing calories, it's costing time, it's costing all of this stuff, which most people are not accustomed to doing, especially if you're used to living in a city where everything's within a few minutes walk, or everything, your food and all that stuff's just at the corner store. All of these things are gone in a grid down type scenario. So you have to get out.
The funny thing is, if you took, for example, my grandparents, or probably even my parents back in the 60s, but in particular my grandparents, the ones that went through World War II, at the 50s and 60s, who still had vegetable gardens, still had chickens in the backyard, still cooked from scratch, still knew how to make, if they grew wheat, still knew how to ground down the wheat to make flour. Like, if you go back just a short time, if this was to happen like it did in the 1800s, it wouldn't make much of a dent, because people would go, oh, well, that's a bugger, but oh, well, hey, Joe, can you give some tomatoes or so and so? People would have been a lot better off. But now,
right. If you live out in the country, you can do that, where you can grow your own stuff and all that.
City back in the day, even, that's what I'm saying, right. Even after the war, even in the city, people who had a backyard, well, our cities, not New York or places like that, but here, like, people had backyards, people, knew how to cook, people knew how to make things. They were far more self-sufficient than humans are now. Now, humans are so reliant upon supermarkets and everything being prepared for them that they go and pick what they want. Yep. Nobody, apart from Dee and a few others, nobody knows how to grow a vegetable. Nobody knows where to look for bush tucker or natural foods. Like, what does that tree grow? Like, and what not to eat too. Like, a lot of people wouldn't know, I don't think I'm supposed, do you know what I mean? So if this was to happen, if something like that were to happen 50 years ago, I don't think it would have been, plus technology wasn't huge anyway, no computers or anything. I think everyone, it would have been a hiccup, it would have been a pain in the ass. Population worldwide wasn't as big. I think everyone would have been fine, but now everyone's too reliant on phones and computers and supermarkets and all that sort of thing. So like you're saying, if you're out in the country near some farmland or bushland, it'd be a pain in the ass, but you'd be all right. I reckon you'd do it.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that's the reset we need.
Maybe.
Just saying. What's Erwin saying? If I missed something that you've said. Hi, Julie. Bambi was scary. His poor mother. Oh, yeah. Do you know what other movie? Does anyone remember a movie called The Foundling? It had Gregory Peck played the father. It was a little boy who finds a baby deer. I think the mother's shot, like in Bambi. But the mother's shot, the little boy takes the deer home and gives it bottles and stuff. Mum's really hard, Mum's like, get that thing out of here or whatever. In the end, the deer loves the boy and keeps coming back, but he's also eating their crops and things. And right at the end of the movie, Dad's going to kill the deer. And the little boy says, no, Daddy, no, you can't. And the little boy's crying. He knows he's got to shoot the deer that he loves because it is destroying their crops and it's coming in and like they plant the crops. And I kind of think, no, he won't shoot it. He does. And it's a heartbreaking movie. It's worse than Old Yeller. Old Yeller was bad enough, but no, The Foundling's worse. Fodder Wheel is one of the characters in it, I think. But, yeah, if you want to have a good cry, watch The Foundling with, Gregory Peck. Gregory Peck. They knew how to make movies back in the day. I tell you what, it was terrible. Anything. Yeah. Oh, The Yearling. What did I call it? The Foundling. Yeah, The Yearling. That's it. Thanks, Fats. the yearling. Oh, it's so sad. But yeah, I mean, I love watching it, but now as an adult, knowing what happens at the end, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. And I've watched Old Yeller, and that's the same. You cry at the end, you know, his doggy. I don't know. But that's how I feel about Cujo. When I watch Cujo, I think, you poor dog, rabies must be horrendous. Even humans lose their mind.
Yeah. Fear of
So,
water. You know, at
yeah,
the core
fear
of
of
it.
water. Yeah.
What?
Hypo, what's it called? It's the rabies is what everyone calls it, but it's got a name that's a phobia. Hybophobia? No.
Hydrophobia.
Hydrophobia. That's it. That's what it's actually called, or whatever. And I'm like, because you get the rabies, and then you. Oh, is it a fear, or you just? I don't know. Can you just not drink it? With rabies, like, is it just that you literally can't drink the water, or you could drink the water? I don't know.
They always seem to avoid it, like they don't want to drink it, because any kind of like injured animal out in the wild, that's usually the first thing they'll do is head towards a source of water, because as long as you've got water, you're going to be alive. You can survive off of your own body fat for a few days or whatever like that. As long as you got water, you'll be okay. That's like if you get deer that are injured during a hunting thing, you can track if they have initial to get away from whoever the hunter is, and if you're still tracking them, track them to whatever the nearest water source is, because that's where they're going to go. Because any kind of like injury or anything like that they're used to normally getting out in the wild, as long as they're near water, close enough to where they can, lean over and sip out of a stream or whatever, they'll still be alive and allow their body to heal from whatever the injury is, not realizing the catastrophic, damage a bullet can do. But that's fairly normal as far as like deer hunting and stuff like that is following back that. However, if they have rabies, that's completely the opposite thing that they would do. They don't want anything to do with water. They don't want to be around water, all that stuff. They avoid it. Almost to the level of a phobic, I'm afraid of water kind of a thing, which is where, the name kind of, whether that's right or not. I don't know if that's really, vocabulary, grammatically type correct, to label it as a phobia, as far as animals go, but that's certainly how they act. That's why the name sticks.
Yeah, Ben, I was talking about that to someone the other day. Was it you, Enzo? Somebody, because I don't talk to very many people, that was talking about. That was you. Yeah, well, Enzo said.
I was saying, if you watch Signs, look at it through the view that they're not aliens; they're actually demons, and the water is like holy water and stuff like that. It makes way more sense than that they're from some other planet. Why the hell would you land on a planet to try and take over the local population where 78% of the Earth's surface is water, which would kill you?
I don't know, but I never looked at it that way before. I enjoyed that movie. I thought that was a pretty good one. But I don't know. There's not really been any good movies made of late, to be honest. Not that I can say.
I don't know.
Well, maybe not that I've been interested in watching. Like, there used to be a time where Hollywood was pumping out movies so much that you could look at what was on it and be like, oh, I don't know which one I want to see. Like, I'm talking like the 80s and the 90s, I guess. Like, all these movies had come out. There was always a blockbuster. You had Die Hard, you had Ghostbusters, you had all these movies, and you wouldn't know which one you wanted to see. Nowadays, it's kind of like, I don't know. And also, a lot of them I don't want to see because the actors are driving me nuts. So, yeah, Ben, I think you're right. There's, it's just like all they do is copy other old movies. Like, I am amazed that there has not been remakes of things like The Yearling or other stuff. And back in the day, of course, someone mentioned it up the top there, Tammy. Who said Tammy? The movie Tammy. I hear the cotton birds singing above.
We've certainly gone through a glut of substandard movies the last several years, where it's just entertainment in general, even like streaming stuff, has just been garbage. Where you get what would actually be kind of a mediocre movie, like Weapons. I feel is kind of like it would be a mediocre movie if it was done like 10, 15 years ago, where you probably wouldn't even think about it. Whereas you watch today, it's like, oh, it's that cracker when you're starving kind of a thing, a cracker that you wouldn't think anything about, but if it's the only thing you've got to eat, oh, this is the best cracker I've ever had, kind of a thing.
Actually, no, a movie I did watch the other day, because at the moment, if anyone's aware, I can't remember what it's on. Interview with the Vampire was made into a TV series, and my daughter made me watch it with her. Having been someone who's read the books and loves the books, you get an idea in your head what the characters look like. And of course, the characters in the book are very, apart from Lestat, the characters in the book are very different to the characters that you see on the TV show one. The TV show was good, though. I enjoyed it, but it's absolutely not the same as reading the books. But I thought, I'll get her to watch Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, because I remembered it as being I remember when it came out, because I'd already read the book, and I remember when the movie came out, I was disappointed in the movie, but I thought, it was still okay. And then I got them to watch it with me, and it was shit. I'm like, oh, it's really bad. The only person in it that did really well was the actress who played the little girl. But everything else was like, oh, not at all what like. It's funny, some movies, you don't need to rewatch them, but you forget, because at the time you watch them you think they were all right. Like, I never thought it was good, but I thought it was all right. But in comparison, in comparison, the TV show is quite good. It's just not true to the books, if that makes sense. So but the guy who plays Lestat, though, is Australian, in the TV series, and he does look like the character is described in the books. So at least that's one thing. So there you go. John Carpenter. Which vampire movie was the one by John Carpenter? Ben.
Didn't he do? Wasn't it called Vampires with Woods, I think, in it as a priest?
Oh, Blade was good. That's an old one. Well, it's not really. Yeah, I love Vincent Price. It was called Vampires. Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah. John Carpenter vampire movie called Vampires in 1998, horror western film starring James Woods as a mercenary vampire hunter named Jack Crow. The plot follows Crow's team as they pursue a master vampire named Valak, who seeks an ancient cross that would allow him to walk in sunlight.
Yeah.
Was that the one where it shows him like emptying out like a nest of vampires in a house, and they have a truck out front that has the pulley mechanism thing in the front, and they like spear him with that, and then it drags him out into the sunlight, and they start burning as soon as they hit out into the sunlight. I don't know. I think that's the same one. James Woods. He's always great in anything he does, anyways.
Yeah, I like James Woods. Facts. I like the movie Tammy. My daughter, just a story, a short, diverse. The movie Tammy starred Debbie Reynolds, right? But when I might have told the story before, but Debbie Reynolds years ago 20 years ago, came to Australia to do her show at the theatre. So it was like going to watch a Vegas show at the theatre. And my daughter, Emily, who at the time was in kindergarten, absolutely adored Singing in the Rain, the movies, anything with Debbie Reynolds in it. And Tammy was also one of her favourite movies. So I emailed the theatre and said, my daughter would love to meet Debbie and give her a gift. Is that possible? Or if not, where can we leave the gift? So I got a phone call from an American lady who said she was Debbie Reynolds' secretary. And Debbie probably won't have time to meet Emily before the show, but there'll be something for Emily at the theatre door. And she would be very grateful for Emily to leave the gift. So Emily had drawn a picture and she made her a little guardian angel thing out of crystal, like we got a thing out of crystal. So we left it at the theatre door and there was a package waiting for Emily and it had an autographed picture of Debbie Reynolds in it that said, "Oh, thank you so much for the gift, Emily." And I thought, I've still got that photo here, still got the tickets, but we come out and Emily had the photo. She was holding the photo and she was dressed up like a little princess and we're waiting in line to go in and see the show. And everyone's going, "Oh, how did you get that?" And I thought, well, you take a bloody present to Debbie Reynolds. But yeah, I love Debbie Reynolds. So I love all those old movies and Tammy was one of the ones I loved. But there you go. Oh, look at that. My dog's barking. What a shock. Let's have a look. I might have a look for it because I do like James Woods. But oh yeah, so yeah, all talking about it is a sweet memory. It is a sweet memory. I don't know, but Debbie Reynolds, I mean, she's a proper movie star. Like not like now, you got all these girls that are movie stars. I don't think there's anyone working now. Oh look, no, that's a lie. I think if I were to see, as much as Tom Cruise isn't popular in a lot of ways, he's a movie star. If you notice, really, unless someone's gossiping, you never hear him gossip. Do you know what I mean?
He's the movie star. Has really died off a lot in the last dozen or so years. There's you just need to ask yourself, okay, this person is in a movie, I'm going to go see it. Back a long time ago, it'd be like Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it, I'm going to see it. That kind of stuff, because you knew what you were going to get. As far as things like that, I mean, there's just not that many anymore where that's the draw, is a specific person. And personally, I blame social media for it. Where there was a day, if you think back to pre-internet, the only time you would ever see Hollywood celebrities was like on Johnny Carson or some late night, talk show kind of a thing, where they would come on for 20 minutes, tell a couple of, funny anecdotes from the set of whatever their latest movie is, show the clip from the movie, and then they're gone. And they were very mysterious. They were very unusual. You didn't know all there was to know about it. Whereas today, you know what they had for breakfast, who they voted for, they will tell you, and make sure that you vote for that person again, kind of a thing, where it's the messaging is so out of whack for, hey, go check out my movie. No, it's believe what I'm being told to tell you, oh yeah, go check out my movie. It's such a mess and totally backwards from what it should be, because they get instantly into politics, which will instantly polarize your audience into a 50-50 thing. You've automatically cut your audience in half by making political type statements, where one half is going to be like, yes, he said the right things, we will go see their movie. They don't. And then the other half will be like, oh, he's against us for whatever. Screw you. I'll never watch another one of your movies again. I may even discount some of your old movies because you're such a jerk. And
Well, I
it's
can't. Yeah.
oh,
I can't
it
watch
is.
anything with Robert De Niro at the moment because I've got Meet the. I love Meet the Fockers. I love it.
He has such this huge, great catalog, and
And
is just every time he gets in front of a camera, from this point forward, he's just shaving off more of his audience.
I don't
more.
know. He just needs to shh because I think because he's unhinged. It's unhinged, like it's not normal. Right. Whereas I've seen a few other actors that you expect it from, like Jane Fonda, Jamie Lee Curtis. But then Jamie Lee Curtis, the other week, now she's a bit of a nitwit too, but having said that, she doesn't talk about it too much. But the other week she was on, when Charlie was killed, she was on I think a podcast or a radio interview or something. She was weeping. Right. She was weeping over his death. And I went, wow. I thought she would have been one of the unhinged ones that would say something nasty, but she didn't. Like she said what a normal person would say, in that don't always agree with what he said. But that's horrendous. She'd obviously seen the footage, because the footage just, when you're not expecting it, horrendous.
There's that one specific piece of footage where it's so graphic, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I still am a bit traumatized by that. But
a lot of people were. And that's what makes it so polarizing, is because there were other people, even after seeing something so graphic and so visceral, are still laughing and making happy TikTok videos and dances and making up little songs. It's like,
oh well, they're just obviously
demonic. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, just mental, like mental.
Yeah.
But there's but there are a lot of actors who, they're smart. You don't know what their political leanings are, and I don't want to know. They're there to entertain me. If I want to know, well, why do I don't want to know what they think. I don't care what they think. Make sure that when you pump out the next TV show, I don't see your stupid opinions, even if they think the same as me. I don't want to know. I don't want to know, because when I watch your movie, depending upon the character you play, I'm going to be influenced by that interview I saw with you where you talked about blah, blah. Whereas I'd much rather be influenced by the interview I saw where you told a funny story about your pussycat, or you told a funny story about staying the night in a haunted house, or you told a funny story about someone giving you a rat in the box. Who did that? Oh, Mel Gibson, I think. Is it Mel Gibson who used to give terrible presents to somebody on the set? I think so. Might be Mel. Yeah. Used to do terrible pranks. But no. Like, and that's a funny thing too. Mel Gibson, for example, very religious man. Now he's sort of a little political, but not much. I'm only against but I can still watch his stuff because he's not unhinged. He's not screaming about things. He's having conversations. So anyone who can have a conversation, have a different opinion, but have a conversation and come back and forward, that's fine. I can watch them because I'm thinking, well, they're not unhinged. But the ones that just go, yeah, and can't hold a conversation, that's scary. And then that puts you off. You don't want to see them in anything, especially when they say nasty things about someone who died.
Right.
Like, no, it doesn't.
I always think back to Michael Jordan, who some of his publicists, back in the day, in the 90s. We're trying to angle him towards, selling shoes and stuff like that to, specific demographics of people. And he's like, Republicans buy shoes too. I'm not going to exclude anybody. This is for everyone. If they enjoy what I do and what I believe, I'm all for them, buying my shoes and stuff like that. Yeah, that was his angle on it. And damned if it didn't make a gazillionaire out of the guy by just being normal. I mean, just being rational about the stuff. It's like you don't need to compartmentalize all of humanity into one box or another. That's horrific to do such a thing. And he's one of those great people that even back in the day, long before any of this stuff became super polarized, it was like, I'm not doing that. No, that's dumb. Why would you exclude 50% of your market just because you want to win some points with some people? No.
Yes, Ben, agreed. Like I can watch people debate, come back and forward, because debating is different, because you know your facts, and the other person should be armed with the same facts or their facts, and it's like a backwards and forwards of, yeah, but here's those facts. Oh, well, where did you get those facts from? These are the facts I've got. Let's check that out together. Well, that's that. And that, where at the end of it, you either both agree to disagree, or one or the other has been turned to go, crap, you're right. But yeah, a lot of things aren't like that. Even on a personal level, where I've tried to have conversations with people I know and love about different subjects, no, there is no conversation. Oh, how can you like that person? Oh, this, that, and the other. And it's like, oh my God, like, have you even watched, like, they haven't educated themselves to the other side, if that makes sense. They've watched, they've got, so when someone says to them, yes, but how about this? They're not up for a debate. They're just right. And that's where the screaming and yelling comes, and it's just sad to see. It's like terrible. What's that? Jim Carrey would make Jim Carrey, is he all right lately? I haven't seen him in much, but he's actually shown me to be a lot smarter than what I thought he was.
I don't know this for a fact, but there are certain Hollywood celebrities that are kind of seeing there's a turn going on right now in the public consciousness that if you end up sticking to what you've been doing, you're going to be left behind. And he seems to be kind of riding the pines to see which way it's going to go, and certainly has made some middle of the road commentary the last year or so. Which there's a lot of celebrities that are certainly in that same camp, where it's like, damn, I shouldn't have said all these really polarizing things. Now I'm stuck in just this little niche of people that I can't get out of now.
I saw that movie 23. That was good. Well, at least I remember it being good.
I have never seen that. I'm sad to say that I've never seen it. I've heard a lot of great things about it, but I've just never seen it.
Jim definitely, although he's a comic, he definitely can do those roles. Well, see, just like you wouldn't throw Natalie Portman out of bed for eating crisps. Same thing for Jim Carrey for me, I guess. But then I don't really want to do anything with him. I just said I wouldn't throw him out of bed. He can share my bed, so long as he doesn't snore. So long as he tells a joke or two. I don't know. There's just so many things, but I do note that there's a lot of. Do you know what? Question. Mel Gibson. All right, we claim him, but he was born in. I think he was born in New York, but he lived here. Like, they came out here, and he lived here until his 20s, I think. Him and his dad. So he's got dual citizenship, but he's technically American. So couldn't he run for governor of California, or, dare I say, president of the United States? I don't know if I'd want.
Was he born in the United States?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure New York. Let me double. Yeah, he was. He wasn't born in Australia.
That's usually the big sticking point. That's that's why Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't be president ever, because that's one of the rules is you have to be born.
There you go. He was born in Peekskill, New York.
Peekskill. Yep. Way upstate New York. I'm familiar with her. That is.
But I know that his mum and dad, I don't know why they came here. I haven't gone that deeply into it, but I know his mum and dad moved here, I think, to Sydney. And, yeah, he lived here until he was around about the time he made Mad Max. Once Mad Max was – that's why he had such an Australian accent, because he grew up here. But, yeah. Well, he is a citizen, so there you go. That's why I know Arnie was governor of Thingo, but now you've got that Mondami or whatever his name is running for New York governor.
Yeah.
If they'd only, if it was only the same thing, no matter what country you came from, no matter what country, that if you live in that country, you have to be born in that country to serve in the government. It should be like that worldwide, which would knock out the possibility of things like that man being governor at all, because he's not born there. He doesn't even have Western, what's the word I'm looking for, morals. So that would absolutely knock it out. But then in that instance, Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't have been governor. Although, for argument's sake, they say he didn't do a good job anyway. But, hey, it's Arnie, Terminator. I don't know. Yeah. But I just think
that obviously didn't translate into good legislation, oddly enough.
So that's why I'm thinking it's probably too late now, but I'm thinking if they brought in a rule, it would mean it just would mean that if you were put into government and could only do so if you were born in the country that was governing, I think that might work a little bit better, because hopefully you have that mindset of your country and its beliefs and its culture or whatever. That way but it sounds racist, doesn't it? I don't mean it like a racist way. I just mean you would be able to possibly stop the Mondami, is that his name, Mondami? And what's the other one's name that came from, she's female, married a brother? Iman or something. They say really horrible things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you even get elected? So I don't know. I'm not trying to be racist, although it probably sounds racist. I don't know. I'm just saying you'd probably knock out a lot of your culture being changed dramatically and safeguard against communism and such. You don't. But then again, I suppose even if you were born in the country, you could be a communist, couldn't you?
Yep.
So I guess that makes my argument stupid. Because I guess you can be born in your own country and still have your own cultures, but still be turned and still be a bad.
There's always going to be somebody that think that that grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think so long as you're nice to everybody, and you take everything from their culture that is good. Every culture has bad things. Every culture has good things. So get every culture's good things. And, imagine where we'd be without the Chinese and Chinese food. I'd be starving, or imagine where you'd be without a good souvlaki or a Greek salad. Italian. Imagine where we'd be without spaghetti. It's just, or pizza. So it's a good thing. Multiculturalism is a good thing. Certain parts, like that fellow who's running for New York, that's scary. Scary thing is they reckon he'll get in. That's even scarier, because that's like, oh my God.
Deserve everything they get if that's where they go. It's like, all right, there you go.
It's gonna be scary. But anyway, she'll be right. It'll all work out. It'll all come out in the wash. Eventually, everything will settle down. You know, everything will settle down. I think. I don't know, but yeah, I don't want to see any of my actors talking about that crap because otherwise, I can't watch your movie. You know, I can't because I don't see the character anymore. I see the nut job. Oh, what's this?
Hey, before we end the show,
Yeah, before we go,
we've had some actual science come through this past week, where we have scientific papers presented, peer-reviewed, and approved. This particular one, transients in the Palomar Observatory Sky Survey, which may be associated with nuclear testing and reports of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, paper approved on Monday. Now, what is this? This is something drummed up by Dr. Beatrice Vallerell from Sweden, where she has come up with this examination of the 1948-ish to the late 50s Palomar Sky Survey pictures. Basically, these are photographs, big giant glass photographic plates based out of the Palomar Observatory in which is near San Diego, California, where they would take multiple pictures of the sky with the intention of stitching them all together to make a full sky survey of stars around the Earth, around our throughout our entire orbit of the sun, a year's worth, to make a full catalog of what our sky looks like, which had never actually been done with using photography before. Everything else was just somebody looking up at the sky is like, yeah, there's going to be a dot here, that's a star, and a dot here, that's okay, that's good. This is an actual scientific comparison. So in the 1950s, certainly they were finding they would take multiple shots using multiple filters, like a blue and a red and a green type filter, to make certain stars stand out. So they would take this specific piece of sky. They're going to take a picture with a red filter, which is going to be on for a couple minutes for full exposure, then a green one, then a red one. And they would take, overlap those things. They were finding stars on these plates that didn't exist where there should not be stars. Taken hours apart, suddenly there's not these things. In the early 50s, before we had satellites up, this particular image that you see here in front of you, you can see some green circles there on the left, circling some stars. Would this be easier if I shared it, or should I just leave it like this?
Leave it like that. I can see it.
Where you can see here on that side, where there are stars circled by green circles. And then like an hour later, you can see there's no stars there. Where did those stars go? Well, they did a little part of this whole paper is to decide that these weren't stars that were suddenly there and then disappeared. There's no astronomical reason that why these would just suddenly disappear. So they did a lot more research. These particular, well, let me shrink myself here a little bit to get out of the way. These are the same star fields. Again, you can sort of see here on the left, you can see this cluster of 3 stars here in the middle, but they're not there like an hour later. Not even an hour later. Basically, what To kind of fast forward this whole thing and the basically the results of this peer-reviewed paper that was released on Monday is basically during this survey, which ran from like 1947 until like 1959, 58, 59 area of the entire sky, some of these pictures of the same area of sky suddenly would have stars. Some would not. Some of these areas that had stars in them also wouldn't be there when that particular area was in the shadow of the earth. Basically, what this is they're finding that there was something in geosynchronous orbit in the late 40s, early 50s that was in geosynchronous orbit of the planet. It wasn't some cosmic thing happening some far away where like a star blew up and it disappeared. No, it was nothing like that. This is something that's happening within the orbit of our planet back in those days. And
gotcha.
they started finding correlations where some of these stars, I do in quote to air quotes, were also in line with one, mass UFO sightings, or two, a above ground nuclear test in the 50s. Usually like plus or minus a day for some of these things, but there's significant evidence to show that there's correlation between whatever these objects are on these old plates from the 50s. Now, if you look closely at the date here on this particular one, oh, hang on a second. 19 July 1952, 8:52 p.m. Then the same day, 19 July 1952 at 9:48. You've got these three objects here.
And then they're gone.
This particular day, 19 July 1952, as it turns out, that's something that we've covered on this channel just a few weeks ago. If you remember the saucers over the Washington, D.C. discussion that we had a couple of weeks ago, where there's suddenly, this wave after wave of saucers over the Washington, D.C. area, and then they're suddenly gone. And then the very next week, the next Saturday, as it turns out, there's again this wave after wave picked up on local radar, visual identifications from the ground and air by pilots, by ground crews, chased by aircraft, and suddenly sped away. All of these things. They also found that there was correlation for all of these things with above ground nuclear tests in the 50s. Back in the 1950s in the United States, in certain remote areas of Nevada, we spoke earlier about ghost hunting in Las Vegas, where Vegas, some of the mobsters in Vegas back in the 50s would actually make mini casinos out in the middle of nowhere and out in the desert, where part of the allure was you could watch a live nuclear explosion in front of yourself there. And they certainly did. I didn't know a lot about Fallout back in those days. They didn't quite get the full understanding of that. Did some of the people there come to a horrific cancerous end in the end part of their life? Well, actually, they kind of did. But anyways, back to our photographic plates. There are thousands of these where there is a correlation between either mass UFO sightings across the United States or plus or minus a day of above ground nuclear detonations, where there were a lot of these unknown objects, which, as it turns out, were only on the daylight side. Because if you track, satellites today as they move through the sky, it'll fade off and disappear where it gets to where the Earth's shadow is, because there's no light to reflect off of it. It's way above your head, so it's going to be in the sunlight, and as it orbits around, it'll fall into the shadow and just disappear where you can't see it. These were doing the same thing. Whatever these were in orbit around the Earth. Now, again, this is 1952 for this particular picture, and it's important to remember the first space launch of any kind of satellite by modern day man didn't happen until 1957.
So it wasn't satellites we were seeing.
So it wasn't a satellite launched by us or anyone else for that matter. So it's this was again this paper was released this past Monday, basically with other scientists getting with Beatrice Vallejo, of out of Sweden, where she kind of spearheaded this whole thing, and they agree with her. There is something else in orbit in these plates from the late 40s to the mid 50s that doesn't belong to us. So who put these things in orbit? What are these things? It certainly doesn't explain those answers. However, science says there were certainly objects in orbit over the Earth before humanity ever launched any satellites in orbit to where it could have possibly been reflecting back in these photographs.
It's pretty cool.
So,
I did see them talking about that. I can't remember who was talking about it, but I thought interesting. And then now you've brought it up, so it is interesting.
Yep, wild stuff. I feel it's sad that we have to revert back to the 50s to say, holy crap-a-roni, look, there's this particular slide shows stuff that was not there in the first slide is missing in the second slide, but there's also additional things in the second slide that aren't in the first slide.
Mm.
So something was certainly circling the Earth before any modern day manned space program launched anything. So who is it? Who does that belong to? Where are they from? Where did they launch from? How did they get there? What were they doing?
It's Klingons, I tell you.
Klingons around Uranus, the bane of the universe.
Oh, geez. That's pretty interesting, though, isn't it? But I don't, it is what it is. So even now, when launches happen these days, rockets and anomalies have been spotted watching them. Yep. And then, of course, there's all those stories about so-called I can't remember what year it was, but where there was everything went off, alarms and everything, that there was a nuclear attack about to happen from Russia. I think Russia was about to launch a nuclear attack, and it turned out to be something weird. And then another story about aliens shutting down nuclear plants, I think. I don't know. All these weird things.
There's been a couple of stories about from the U.S. side of UFOs over, nuclear armed, ICBM fields where they've got, dozens of missiles within a few miles of a main part, the main central nexus. And all of those missiles just tick, tick, tick going offline, where they couldn't launch if they wanted to. It was completely a total system failure. There was nothing they could do. However, After the Soviet Union fell, there were people that kind of like snuck into the Soviet Union there in the late 90s or mid 90s and started looking at some of their info, and they had a similar but opposite style of thing where some of their fields had been a strange UFO over the base, glowing light that doesn't make any sense and doesn't respond to anything. It's not a plane, blah, 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 blah. Suddenly, all of their missiles go active live with a countdown to launch, and they can't stop it. And before it ever gets to zero, of course, unlike your any kind of spy movie where the counts down to like 2 and they figure it all out and get it disconnected. No, it was several seconds still, and then everything just kind of like flatlines and just dies, and then everything comes back online and everything's normal. So you had on both sides of the Cold War, one where it completely shuts everything down, where they can't do anything with it, and the exact opposite on the Russian side, where we're going to launch these if we want to, but we don't want to, and they just turn it off at the last second.
It's pretty mental, but anyway, as I say, we're all going to die one day. It just depends how. On that note, on that cheery note, I want to thank everyone who's stayed.
It's Halloween. We're supposed to get creepy, right? Yeah,
it's Halloween, and I hope you all do have a fun Friday night. Watch some scary movies and eat some popcorn, and just be happy. Have a great weekend, and coming up, because it'll be Friday. Have a good week, and may all the ghosties and ghoulies be friendly, and we'll see what next week brings us when Enzo and I meet up yet again for a chat. And if you've missed anything, just go back to the beginning. And if you're wondering what we were talking about with the Washington UFOs, that was last week's show, wasn't it? I think. Pretty sure.
It was a few weeks ago, I think.
Maybe it was a few weeks. I lose track of time. But go back and check that out, because we did that right sort of at the beginning of the show. Maybe I should go in and grab some of that and just pop it in little sections for people so they can watch it. But anyway, I've got to get motivated. Yeah. I've got to get motivated. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Tanya, thank you as always for popping in. Enjoy your public holiday, although, let's see, you're a couple of hours. It must be near tea time for you, dinner time. Dee, thanks for dropping in. Erwin's already gone. He's gone to bed. I think Ben's still here. Jethro might still be here. Carla's gone. What else? I think everybody else is. Dazzler might still be here lurking in the background. Fats. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. And we'll see you next week. No worries. And until then, just stay safe. Love you.